How does spirit communication work? Well, welcome back. I am Kara and I work as a psychic medium. So it's kind of a big question and it's kind of hard to encompass everything that I would need to cover to fully answer this question, but I'm going to try my best to explain how it works for me. Spirit communication is a lot more subtle than I think most people realize. This really tripped me up in the beginning, and I think in general this contributes to kind of why our society doesn't fully believe in or understand our ability to intuit and perceive information from the spiritual realm. I think kind of a misconception that's out there about mediums or people who communicate with spirit is that we are just seeing dead people or other souls just in our everyday lives around us in our physical world. And for most mediums, I don't think that this is actually the case. Every medium works a little bit differently, and while I do know that there are some mediums who actually see souls that are in their physical world, they see and hear them just as if they were other humans. I think most mediums do need to kind of tune in a little bit more to those energies around them to be able to gain any real information about them. For me, being able to sense other energies around me doesn't mean that I can always see them or have any semblance of who they are. When I was first seeking guidance on all of this, the practitioner that I was working with told me to initially focus on small exercises that would help to strengthen and sharpen my sensitivity and observational skills. And to be honest, at the time, I didn't really love that advice. I just didn't see how studying the veins on a leaf could help strengthen my intuition. But these are the kinds of things that ended up helping my senses attune to a point to where I could finally perceive messages from the spiritual realm. And what I have learned over time is that because it is so subtle, a lot of spirit communication is just noticing. So when I channel spirit, my goal is to move my conscious thinking mind to the side and allow my inner vision or third eye to come into focus. The third eye is an energy center or chakra located in the middle of your forehead between your eyebrows, and it is kind of thought as a gateway to realms beyond ordinary sight. So to allow my third eye to come into focus, I calm my nervous system by taking a few full deep breaths, and then I allow my mind to open. In the beginning stages of my development, I needed several minutes of deep meditation to achieve this state of calm or openness. But now, with some time and practice, I'm usually able to achieve this state in around 30 seconds. And now, when I channel, I can typically hold a conversation and I don't need to be completely focused on channeling. Once my third eye is activated, I focus on becoming an open channel for any loved ones, ancestors, guides who are energetically linked to the person that I'm reading for. I start to perceive visions or impressions that come through in flashes of vivid mental imagery, kind of the way a memory would replay in your mind. And I also start to take notice of any emotions, sounds, or even smells that are coming up. For me, the majority of the messages come through in a short and choppy way. There are times when I see a full sentence or I hear a full statement in someone's voice, but those times are definitely more rare for me. When I channel, I'm mainly using clairvoyance or intuitive seeing and claircognizance or intuitive knowing. The way I describe the perception process is that it's kind of like following the flow of a river. As I connect in, I use the main river as kind of an anchor point, and then I'm able to explore the separate tributaries to dive deeper into the story, characteristics, or messages of the spirit communicator. Spirit impressions typically come in with no clear order or structure, and this is why sometimes multiple spirits, it can be easy to conflate with one another. This is why 1 minute we can be clearly talking to grandma, and then all of a sudden the messages and the vibes change, and the person I'm reading starts to tell me it's starting to sound more like their uncle than their grandma. It's because they're literally all talking at one time. And it's also why I often need to take pauses or close my eyes to kind of regroup. It's because I'm literally trying to organize and piece together who all is saying what. Another thing that confused me in the beginning is that spirit can actually use your own personal experiences and stories to convey their own messages. They are really good at finding the overlapping commonalities that allow the messages to really hit home. It can be confusing when you're developing, especially because you tend to think that you kind of need to throw away any memories or associations with yourself personally. You tend to think that it's kind of just your logical thinking mind popping back in and you need to kind of shoo it away. But with time, you start to realize that there's usually a reason why a specific memory comes up during a reading. And this is something I just kind of had to learn with trial and error by rejecting my fear of being wrong and just throwing it out there. And so often the messages completely hit and the person completely understood why that story would be coming up for me. Something that never ceases to amaze me is just how much information you can get with one impression. A spirit can give me one letter to start with, and from there we can narrow it down to a name, we can establish a personality, a relationship to the person I'm reading, and from there we can get to profound messages. I hope this was helpful. As I said, all mediums, intuitives, channelers work a little bit differently, and at the end of the day, spirit communication is an art form, and there is no one right way to do it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.